Okay, everybody, good afternoon. What is going on? Hope you guys are doing well. We got a little bit of Seattle Seahawks news concerning a defensive back. Not the news that I wanted to hear today necessarily, and I don't even know if it's really news because you look at something like this and you're like, well, nothing's really happened yet. But nevertheless, we do have, at the very least, a roster consideration to make. This is from Adam Schefter and a couple of others as well. So this seems relatively, it's safe to conclude at the very least that there's something going on here. So the Seattle Seahawks have had a workout with former Dallas Cowboy safety Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson is in the area and trying out. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So Donovan Wilson, longtime NFL veteran, he's been around for about a decade now. Spent his whole career with the Cowboys, which means he intersected with Aiden Dirty when Aiden Dirty was the coach over in Dallas. So there's a bit of a connection going on there. I don't know if that's the driving force behind this, but one thing that is interesting to note is that earlier today, if Effiatu Melifonwu, and I'm pretty sure I got that one right because I tried to learn how to pronounce that years ago when he was in the draft, but Effiatu Melifonwu, who the Seahawks did meet with earlier this offseason, has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it seems like they want to find a veteran safety with some competency and ability to play to be able to put, maybe not necessarily on the roster, but have on speed dial in the event that they end up needing their services down the line. And I mean, there's an obvious assumption here, right? You look at guys like Melifonwu, you look at somebody like a Donovan Wilson, and your first thought is this is kind of a Nick Emmanwori hedge, where they believe that Emmanwori will be back well before the season starts, but in the event that he isn't, they want to give themselves some options and opportunities to get a veteran in there for however long it's needed. And again, it doesn't seem like they're really signing these guys, although we do currently have a roster spot open because we haven't filled the Kenny McIntosh really waiver open spot yet. But it seems like there's a degree of interest in having a veteran at the very least ready to call up. Even if you don't put them on the team now, you want to make sure that if you need them, they are ready to go. So we'll see what ends up happening here. But Donovan Wilson, like I said, been in the league for, well, okay, not quite a decade, but coming up on a decade here. Whole career with the Cowboys. He's been a fairly notable player, never been like a Pro Bowl or anything like that, not a super decorated player, but a good one. Had over 100 tackles for the 2022 Cowboys, and remember, that was an elite defense. That wasn't just him tackle farming on some terrible unit. 2023, he had 88 tackles in 15 games. That was another really good defense. One of the Dan Quinn defenses over there in Dallas. And the numbers do indicate that you have, at the very least, a competent player here. Gives you 1 to 2 interceptions a season. And he's also one of the most prolific blitzing defensive backs in football over the last, I guess you would call it, 7 seasons. So there is some interesting stuff here. He can play. He's only, 31? Yeah, he just turned 31 back in February, so 31 years old. Should still be able to, at the very least, play. Maybe not necessarily at a high level, but he's competent, and that's what you're looking for with somebody like this. So putting this guy on speed dial, if Nick Emmanwori doesn't look like he's going to be ready for the season, then maybe you give him a call and you have him on your team until such a time as you feel comfortable. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer, best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. And you take a look at a Pro Football Focus here, and first of all, if you just want to take a look at his grades, they're fine. Although 2025 you saw a significant downtick, but remember, the 2025 Cowboys had one of the worst defenses in NFL history, and I think that when you're not a superstar player in the first place and you're on a defense that is that atrociously bad, it is somewhat unavoidable that you are going to look like a much worse player yourself because you've got nothing going on around you to pick you up. You don't have other players that can come up and clean up when you make a mistake. And there's kind of a trickle down on everybody on the defense except for maybe true superstars. So I don't know how much you'd read into that. Other than that, in his career, he's been at the very least competent. But you take a look at his usage, you can see that he mixes it up, plays all over the defense, box, free, and even a little bit of slot work. Had one season where he had over 100 snaps in the slot, but for the most part, his career is defined by being almost equally in the box and deep. You've got 1,800 box snaps and you've got 2,200 free safety snaps. So this is a safety that can do both things, that has a lot of experience in both roles, also lines up on the defensive line a lot. Okay, not a lot, but a fair amount, more than a typical safety. You have a guy here who you can look at and go, okay, he's obviously not as good as Nick Emmanwori. There's a reason why he's still a free agent at this stage of the offseason. We're almost in August here. However, he can do the things that Nick Emmanwori does at a reduced level, I guess would be the right way to put it, right? He's certainly not the caliber of player, but you have a similar amount of versatility here where you can line him up in a bunch of different spots and feel like he can at least be competent, right? I think that would be the main takeaway here. So presumably this is just a hedge. I don't expect him to get signed right now. Although, again, we do have that open roster spot. Maybe we decide to bring him in now just to be safe, right? Because Melifonwu did get picked up, and maybe we weren't planning on that happening. Maybe this was a circumstance where we wanted to have Melifonwu on speed dial, but are pivoting because now he's not going to be available in all likelihood because he's on another team. Regardless, though, obviously not an earth-shattering move here, nothing shocking, but you do have a player of some note here with a connection to this coaching staff from the Cowboys. And, I mean, he can play. He can play. Last year was the worst year of his career, granted, but there are a lot of reasons why that was the case, and not all of them, and I'd say a decent chunk of them had nothing to do with Donovan Wilson individually. All right, so let me know what you guys think. We'll see if we get any other news concerning defensive backs here in Seattle later today, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Let me know what you guys think. Go Hawks. Donovan Wilson, we'll see if you end up making the squad or not, but the guy can play, and the guy can serve the role that we need. All right, go Hawks.